G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Bloodied Gatling Plasma, 25% faster fire rate and +1 perception. I got inspired to do this weapon after someone left a rather interesting comment the other day, and they were basically describing how much more damage their Bloodied Gatling Plasma does over their Bloodied Minigun now, and that kind of reminded me that I haven't used a non-explosive Gatling Plasma in a long time, and I actually haven't tested it post-damage nerf, so this would be kind of interesting. And if people are interested, I've got a Bloodied Firerate minigun which I can prime and then use for a little bit of a comparison tomorrow, but for now we'll just focus on the Gatling Plasma. And there's a couple of things that I don't particularly like about this. Obviously the energy damage is calculated a bit funkily in the Fallout 76 engine, as well as Fallout 4 kind of a carryover, but it's definitely got an impressive damage stat there with no things attached to that, no perks, and that is a prime receiver because that was already what was attached. So I probably haven't used this thing since I did the Queen test a while back, but also having the prime receiver allowed me to like make 3 plasma cores out of 1 because I got the Ammo Smith perk and yada 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 on ye old ammo bench. That's without using the legendary ammo factory perks either, so that's helpful. Got a standard magazine in here, nothing else. Rifled barrel for range, reflex sight for accuracy, and VATS beam focuser to extend that range out even more. It hasn't got the highest rate of fire, and it does have problems at range because it's not firing hit scan projectiles, it's just firing blobs of plasma, which as far as the game's concerned, that's a missile, but when it hits there's no explosive damage, right? So yes, speaking in terms that aren't in the creation kit, let's go ahead and add some perks, some of these very useful perks, and of course we're going to be chucking on stabilize. I don't know why I didn't have that installed earlier, but I've got it now. Also, we're going to be using adrenaline, would you believe? Enforcer can go. We'll use dodgy for now because we're going to be at very low health. We've got 1 gun army for crippling. We could possibly use something like Ricochet for the first section against the super mutants. Then we'll grab Run Gun Army against the ghouls, because if we hit them and cripple them, we've got a decent % chance to. That's a stagger, and that'll stop them in their tracks, and hopefully the damage will be enough to take it from there. So with all of the perks applied, you'll get yourself 126 damage, which is a fairly decent gainage, I'll tell you that much. But we can go in a Nerd Rage and add another 30 onto that, maybe. Okay, so we're in Power Armor now, dressed up like a plant in Nerd Rage, obviously. And I've noticed that if you jump in Power Armor, you'll lose some of your health. My health, if I step out of the Power Armor, and you'll have to wait for the UI to show up. See, that's right directly under the rad bar, but when I jump in Power Armor, for some reason, I'm either gain or lose a point of endurance, and my max health has changed. Might have to look at that in the Pip-Boy. Sorry, we're getting sidetracked here. 277 health, then we hop out, and there's not a gap in the health bar anymore. 297, so we lose endurance? Is it because of the under armor? Does the extra endurance give you health? I don't know what's going on here, but it happens for other characters too. And I know Winter for sure doesn't have anything to do with endurance on her person in her clothing. So I don't know what that's all about. That's probably a bug. Anyways, damage time. I said we'd get an extra 30. I was wrong. We're doing 238 damage now. So that's hitting pretty hard. Post damage nerf, that's hitting hard. Okay, welcome to the green food dye factory. It looks like the workers in said factory, well, they've helped themselves to it. We're wearing green ourselves, and we're using a weapon that shoots green stuff, so maybe they'll be friendly to us. Actually, who cares? I'm gonna shoot him anyway. So just get, ooh, almost 600 damage with a shot like that because I'm using follow through. All right. Well, there goes the stealth approach, and we can definitely outpace the health regeneration. If we zero on the head, we're getting that much, 300 damage? Wow. This thing is slaying. Color me impressed. Yeah, they weren't kidding when they said their Gatling Plasma was kicking ass. I think I got bitten in the ass by that doggo a few times. That might have caused a few problems. Hopefully I don't get shot out of the sky here. Almost did, you know. We'll just pop a stim back because we're done for the enemies here. Now we're getting 277, which... that's not a whole lot, is it? We were on 230 something. We got an extra 40 damage for our trouble. And keep in mind, this is saying plus 60%, but that's additive, baby. That's 476, baby. You don't get fuck all of the damage perks now, I'll tell you that much. Anyways, more sniping. Seems to be working out. If we can kill the guys fast enough and not, you know, alarm too many AI while we're at it, you'll find that you can kind of get away with sneaking with heavy guns sometimes. And I was definitely pulling this off yesterday with the light machine gun, and actually we were in caution. That was just a panic fire. You know, you'd think with the giant stream of plasma flying at them. Wait a minute. This thing hit scan? No, it's not. The missiles are quick, though. They're very quick. Let's get inside. Let's keep the pace up. Okay, so as long as we don't get bitten by too many dogs, we should have an easy time here. Potentially, if you're using this and you've got more perk points to spend, you might actually consider getting something like Blocker, because all of the enemies that do run up and bite you, they're not going to do nearly as much damage, although that seemed to have resisted quite easily. We're going to keep Ricochet on for now because we are going to still get shot at by super mutants, so there's no reason not to utilize that. That guy forgot where we were. They forgot again. Last time I checked, you couldn't use that in armor. Oh yeah, the rotary barrel thing. It's annoying. There's always got to be one thing to drag down weapons fun factor. If it ain't damage, it's abilities of stopping you from sprinting if the barrel's spinning. I get it might be more safe to, you know, make sure you run around without the barrel spinning in case you fry your own legs, but we're running around with 80% radiation. Any more will turn into a bloody tool, and that's not good. And right there, when they've got an automatic weapon, that is exactly when you want that. And probably should have kept the barrel spinning because that dog bit me and now I'm almost dead. There's another one. They bite quick too. They're like little crocodiles, little bastards. Right, get here, mate. Just quickly outpath him. We're very low health. I'd consider doing a, you know, pressing the 1 key to get a purified water just to top my health up. But guess what's mapped on 1? Nothing. One more bite from a dogger, that's me done. So we've got to make sure we're on our A game now. There's only a couple more mutants to go. We know exactly where we are, where they are. I think I'm going a little bit too much right now. Let's just slow it down a little bit. That guy's got an automatic weapon by the looks. No, it's just a regular one. That dogger howls post-mortem just to, you know, try to throw me off, but my volume's low, so he won't mind all that much. Did hear the door open, and the dog just, you know, can just open doors because, you know, Fallout dogs, they're intelligent. They've figured out how to buff themselves and then turn into, like, giant saltwater crocodile things that can move as fast as LS swapped Omegas. So they're pretty scary. Don't play them lightly. I actually dead set think that they're more dangerous than the super mutants wielding automatic rifles in here. That's how dangerous these guys are. They're not quite up there with Mylurk Kings, but I would rate these more dangerous than a Rad Scorpion at this point. More dangerous than a bear, because think about bears, they're big targets. You can hit them easily, and if they stagger, that stops them in their tracks. They're not getting up. But those doggers, they're mad. They'll eat your ass until your head caves in. Okay, time to get the ghouls dead again. I'm not actually sure if you can see the performance display, but it's there, just to see what kind of FPS I'm getting. I've got this set on high, not extreme performance, so, you know, we're not breaching 60 all the time, but, you know, the laptop's a bit warm right now. She might be throttling a little bit. That's okay. I'd rather it throttle and lose a couple of frames than burn the hell out. Anyways, so we could probably just sit here. There's a Raider Thief around, so wherever he is, I'll eventually find him, kill him, and then whatever he was thieving, take back to their rightful owner. What am I getting killed by? I don't know. Also, the Gatling Plasma seems loud. Is it just me, or is it just really loud? I guess it would be if you were to fire these things IRL, maybe. I mean, a minigun would be super loud. What is it with these ghouls? You know, back in my day, they'd charge through the door like a fucking Black Friday sale, but nah. You lazy bastards gotta wait for me to walk in. Tisk tisk. You bring great shame upon your ghoul grandparents who actually were ballers and went for it. Don't another one. Now, we haven't seen either a Fadass or a Wendigo yet, so... Oh, look at you sleeping on the job. You're worse than the manager. You might even be the new manager right there. Another one. I think the entire bottom floor didn't bother to get up. Although, I thought that I'd be able to trigger them by getting them with my surrounding aura of poison damage. You can't beat these headshots hitting for 300. That's so good. And you notice how I haven't been aiming down sights that much during this? That's because Stabilizer's done a lot for me, so quite happy about that. It's doing well. This thing's got a kind of unpredictable recoil pattern though. It doesn't pull in one specific way. If I point it at what the moon is right now, like there's a bit of muzzle drift. It kind of just goes everywhere. It's kind of going out there, so maybe I should counter just by pulling it that way a little bit, but I mean, not entirely necessary. But if you want to keep your burst going and your accuracy on point, that's probably the way to go. Let's move on. Okay, now time for the crabs, and I think this mob is quite possibly the most difficult foes we'll be facing, which is kind of interesting because, you know, they built up the Scorch Beast to be the big, most dangerous apex predator, but if it landed, mate, sick of Mirelurk King onto it, and that Mirelurk King's gonna be feasting on Scorch Beast liver until, I don't know, next Tuesday, I guess. There's a lot of Scorch Beast that needs to be eaten there, and I think a Mirelurk King would be, you know, good for a while. And I was trying to change viewpoint here, but no, I think the leaves will get in the way, so we'll just stay with first person, I think. We are still managing to utilize sneaky criticals against this mob, and I've noticed that these dudes over here have brought the trouble in, and I've missed Swan. We'll come back to you, don't worry. Wait, where'd they go? Whoops. Well, there's one. Mirelurk Queen is out. Let's just get her a little bit, get a follow-through bonus, attack her from range. Crosshair's kind of bouncing around the place, so probably might just reload this, wait till she comes a bit closer. She's got an goddamn eagle eye when it comes to aiming, but that's okay, we can float up here. Get a AC 130 style, just without all of the explosions. There we go. So accurate, even when in caution, those things. Well, that's kind of odd. Don't know where the rest of the mob's gone. There's one over here. Weird. I expected another Mirelurk King to, you know, uncloak and then immediately hit me and kill me with damage over time. Okay, I've waited around for a bit just to, you know, see where they went post-recording, but don't worry, they came back. They came back. They're not becoming male deers. No, they're not. They came back. That one's decided to go for a swim. He's taken a little bit of damage. I guess the crackhead got a little bit of damage, but promptly got his ass eaten because, you know, he was fighting a Mirelurk King, and I doubt a lot of NPCs can take one of those things, unless they've got, like, some major poison resistance. We've got time for Swan, so let's utilize what time we have. And there's also going to be some crackheads on the way, so it'd be like that Philippines guy and, you know, just kill a bunch of drug addicts. Ha! That one looked like he was wounded already. He probably picked a fight with a bear because he was high on Psycho. Not a good idea. Unless you're like a Becker and can punch as hard as a truck. You know, a truck without multiplicative damage though. You gotta have like an additive damage version of a truck. So definitely not a semi-trailer. Maybe something like a medium rigid, that kind of... Ah, look at this pleb, he has to reload. I don't have to though, but I will anyway. Because the combat's over and I've got a minute to go ahead and reload. Those dogs haven't showed up, but don't worry, we'll be finding dogs in just a second. And that's me telling the future, not because these clips are out of order or anything. Don't get that idea. Well, I went for the follow-through bonus and it definitely paid off. We're still in caution from something, but I think the dogs would have witnessed that and thought, yeah, nah, let's just go find more crackheads who'll hopefully feed us well and not feed Psycho. Do you reckon they feed their dogs drugs? They might, because they're mad bastards. We interrupt this normal transmission for a little bit of dog horde, and there's plenty of dogs to be killed here, so I'm guessing unlike ghouls, these guys will actually give a shit and run at me. Ooh, did that dog just hop? Did we actually see an NPC jump just now? Because that's interesting. Oh, there's crabs. Yeah, these guys don't like crabs either. That's some good eating for crabs. And these guys will yelp when they get close because the damage over time will set in, so it allows me to know exactly where they are. Poor Zebra. Miss my dog. Had a dog pass away recently. And, ooh, we gotta go for a bit of a run to get this one, so I think we've taken out the bulk of them because the alpha would have sicked all of his cronies onto the crab, which, you know, they weren't killing, but there he goes. We got an Exterminator's combat knife. Hopefully it's a 3-star for script. Well, it's a decent secondary legendary effect. Too bad it's ruined by the primary, the prefix. I've changed the audio leveling on the fly here, so I'm a little bit more audible over the game. Now, we've got a challenge to kill 15 Scorched, and since we're using a weapon like this, we might see a lot of that happening. And we've also got Dodgy on, which is not good against Scorch Beasts because they tend to eat up your AP because their explosive radius is so damn high. It's massive. And here's the range problems. This thing spread with its non-hit scan projectiles means sniping these guys, it's not the most effective way to deal with them because you end up missing a lot of shots. You can, if you're good at them, if you learn the way to do it, got a couple of decent shots on there, but you have to sustain a burst for like 10 seconds or more, and doing it from this range, it'd take a lot of skill and preservation and getting to know the weapon a lot better than, you know, using it for 20 minutes during a day. And also, they're just pissing everywhere. I hate when they do that. If we get mod support, I'm taking that AI out. That's annoying. And looks like they don't want this to be super personal, so we'll just hit him. Almost looked like he was going for a landing, but we'll just have to, you know, anti-aircraft it. We're being punched by a lesser Scorch. Oh, we killed 76 Scorch beasts. No way I've killed... That shouldn't have been my 76. They would have counted that wrong. I've killed heaps more than that. Unless it was on this character alone, but that's weird if it is. Almost dead again. Just gonna discreetly pop some healing so we don't have to, you know, cut out unnecessary bits of recording. Not that it did a lot. Oh, it didn't do anything because the barrel was still spinning, and how dare you try to apply healing items. Oh look, some Todd points. That's helpful. And we've run the magazine dry, so whack a new one in, and things will never be better. Another Scorched Annihilator. I hate the Strangler Heart skin. Look how much... Look, the leaves are literally over the crosshair. This is why I don't use it. Also, I look like fucking Venusaur had a root with Optimus Prime, so that's not a very good aesthetic, man. Or is it Megatron? He'd probably be more likely to root a dinosaur-looking thing. Anyways, I'd like to order a Scorch Beast from the hole in the ground. Yes, here we go. True time to kill on this thing when it's up close and not able to dodge your bullets, and blazingly fast, I might add. You get a critical, mate. 457, we even get some extra Todd points for XP. Isn't that all very well and good? Oi, knock that off. 457 damage, you can't argue that that's a bad number to see on a Gatling Plasma. Can't remember what kind of damage we were getting before, but this thing definitely seems like it's got teeth now. Couldn't see it. I think he was behind a mound, but got him eventually. So, there you have it. There you have it! Bloodied Firerate Gatling Plasma. She's gone well, and we just totally dodged that guy, so that's helpful. And, yeah, call me impressed. I don't think a minigun will be able to beat this kind of power because, well, look at it. 288 and the 10% health with what I assume to be full adrenaline now, so that extra 60% additive. You know, it all counts. We're almost hitting 300 with this thing, and considering how fast this thing fires, the DPS on this is quite good. And a little bit of skill involved with hitting the targets means this is actually a weapon that is, dare I say, fun and worthwhile to use. So if you haven't gotten yourself a Bloodied Gatling Plasma of some description, Well, obviously the explosive ones are going to cost you a bit of money because scalpers are out there scamming people for buying that shit. But just any 1-star will do. If it's fire rate's a bonus, if it's VATS accuracy, not so great. I'd take crippling too. Crippling's fine because it's got utility in the way it cripples. You'll definitely do enough damage, but if you can speed the DPS up with 25%, wow, great weapon. I wish this was the best in class for Gatling Plasmas, but unfortunately legacy weapons exist. So it'll always be overshadowed by that heap of skill-driven weaponry. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Also, this one's not for sale. Go find your own.